Right. All right. Here we are. Hey, what's going on with CNC brothers and sisters? It is the day before Thanksgiving, November 26th, and it just so happens to be my birthday today. And I'm seeing so many birthday wishes in the comments there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's been a really good birthday. Turned 64 today, and I'm just a baby, raring to go. So let's see. So if we have technical difficulties, we're starting to see some difficulties on my end. Julianne will jump in, bump me off, and that'll be my notification. Now I got to figure out what's going on with my system. But anyway, tonight we got Kyle Ely on board. So get your Vectric questions in. We already have 17 questions in the queue. So you better get them in early because we're only here till 9:30, an hour and a half in, and then we're going to knock off because we're coming into Turkey Day. So we do have some announcements to make, but I'm going to bring everybody on board for now. So we're going to bring in Kyle and
hello, everybody.
Yep, Julianne and Liberty. So we got the whole crew here tonight. So first of all, Kyle, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, happy birthday to me. So I don't know why my computer keeps beeping at me. That scares me. Just because it's like last week, my thing kept dropping out, and I'm sitting there talking, nothing's going on. The lady's going, Garrett.
And we're like,
Yeah.
So I just told him, bump me off if it happens this time. But okay.
Well, I'm glad you told me it's your computer beeping because I'm sitting here like, where is the beeping coming from? Where is the beeping coming from?
It's coming from this computer. So, okay. Well, so folks, we're going to be doing Vectric tonight. And so get your Vectric questions in. But first, there's a few things I do want to announce. First of all, it is my birthday, and I've gotten quite a few birthday cards, but I got this one from the team with a Jeep on it. That was super, super cool. And because of my birthday, we're doing like a flash sale today. It's a 10% off of the Liberty's favorite little tools, these little sanding brushes. So let's do it this way. These little Dremel sanding brushes. And so we sell them in packs of 40. So you have 10 of each grit, 180, 120, 240, and 400 grit. All right. So we're doing a 10% off thing. And the code you see at the bottom, that's the code to use. Although we're doing Black Friday already, as most of you already know. So with the Black Friday, that discount code won't work with the Black Friday stuff, right, Julianne? So
what? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm throwing in links. I forgot I was up here.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah,
No, it's not going to work with it.
Yeah, more birthday wishes. So anyway, just show you what it is, so everybody can see. Just want to get these announcements out of the way so we can get this taken care of. Let's see. I think it's this one here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I just got to get to the right page here. And so it's these guys right here. We're doing a little 10% special. And Liberty, tell them why you like these things so much.
I clean up all the little fuzzies on every project, from something that was carved with a rougher that needs a lot more sanding to something that was, 3D carved and just has those little hairs all over it. And I love it. Actually, Garrett hands me his projects after he finishes them so I can clean them up. And I just go over it and use all the different, we've got 180, 220, 400. What's the other grit?
120.
120.
Yeah. So
the 400 is my favorite.
Yeah. Which one is the 400?
400.
Okay. Birthday wishes keep coming in. Boy, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It is such a really, really good day. What else? I want to let y'all know we had a Purple Heart come in and we did a donation. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first, I just want to let you know a couple of products that are coming out. So probably right around December 8th, we got the tramming bars that are coming out. So we'll be sending emails out to the CNC insiders and also the new clamps. So I got to share this screen on this one. So share the extra camera. Let me get that set up. So these guys right here, Julianne, can you bring that up? So these are called the edge hugger clamps. They're very low profile clamps, and you can see they just grab just a little tiny bit of the wood, and these things they've got like 250 pounds of force per clamp. Actually, the guy was telling me it can get up to 1,000 pounds. So yeah, that's a two pound dead blow hammer, right? Okay, well I knocked it off. You can get them knocked off if you hit it too hard, but that's what I did. But anyway, so that's it. These things are going to go on sale on December 26th. So I think that slipped off because I got finish on those pieces of wood there. But we've used those quite a bit. I'll be releasing a video on those in a little bit. Probably, well, I'll send it out to the CNC insiders. You can see the whole gamut on that. So, but anyway, we got a sign up page for that. So you get up on that sign up page. We're only getting 1,000 units. So Liberty and I, when we were first shown these, Liberty, you want to talk about those clamps a little bit? You're muted.
Forgot I was muted. I was floored, honestly. The concept is exactly the kind of thing that I look for. The metal clamps scare the crap out of me. I don't love the wooden ones. I like my low profile out of my way. I'm not going to run into it. You know, I make a lot of mistakes. Like I put that out there. I make a lot of mistakes. I move too fast. I skip past steps. And I was very intrigued and impressed by the low profile design of these.
Yeah. So they actually hold really well. They hold quite well. I might not have tightened them up. You got to get a little bit of a snug on them. But anyway, so those are going to release the links that Juliana's put it in. That's a sign up page to get on. So I'm going to send an email out to CNC insiders. They need to sign up to that list too, because that list is going to be the very first to know. All right, there'll be a discount on those clamps. So we'll talk more about that later. Julianne, talk about Purple Heart. So people were donating the last couple of weeks on the Purple Heart thing, and we had a wavy flag, Kyle, that we were selling for Veterans Day, the day before and the day of and the day after, and all that money is $4 for that file, and all that cash was going to the Purple Heart Foundation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so $4 a file. So go ahead, Julianne, tell them about Purple Heart. Andy, by the way, Andy Bird was also selling some things, so he came here too and was part of that. So go ahead, Julianne.
I was gonna say you're kind of covering it there. Really quickly, I know our regulars have heard me go on, and I could go on and on, but Purple Heart Foundation is basically a nonprofit that assists and helps veterans that have like either physical wounds or mental PTSD that they're dealing with, and they bring them into the woodworking space. They take them, travel to the classes, they provide room and board, and they get to sit in and immerse themselves in I want to say worthwhile venture, but something that calms all that chaos inside. So yeah, good people, good guys, and everybody gets to build workbenches for all the veterans to start out their shops with, which is pretty cool. And I think we need to build a workbench.
Yeah, actually, I think we should. So this was Monday, right? So Brent came, visited us on Monday. Andy came up. So we donated. How much did we make total from the donations people made here and for the files?
Well, it was almost, let's see, it was almost $300 from our YouTube donations from the live. So thank you all. It's fantastic. Our sales of the file were around $1,500. So yeah, we just went ahead and upped our donation to be about 4,000. So just wanted to. Actually, we had some cash donations from people that just came in and handed it to us. Said we want to donate this to Purple Heart. We weren't sure how.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, we had to add that to our total as well.
That's cool. So yeah. So you see, we got Andy Bird there because Andy Bird donated $2,000. So we gave them all together $6,000, and that's Brent. So he's the director of director. What's his role?
Director of not operations. Director of. Hold on, I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so it's so cool. $6,000 donation. I love that we can donate. So when you guys are buying stuff from IDC Woodcraft, some of that cash goes to donations. So we're over $80,000 in donations so far to various charities.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's we'll have to set a goal next year, maybe $50,000
for donating to everything.
Yeah. Let's set
like that idea.
What do you should put in the comments if we should do that? 50K. Set that goal. All right, and finally, folks, we're taking up a lot of time here with this stuff. We are doing a Black Friday at IDC, and I just want to give you a little so you understand how it works. All right, so we're going to switch over to this. Now, when you go to the home page, you're going to see this big banner on the home page. Click that banner, and that's going to take you to all the stuff that is the Black Friday sale. Okay. And so you scroll down and so it's all the IDC Woodcraft bits and the Jenny bits that are on sale right now, right, with the Black Friday. So the way it works, you spend $120 or more, it's free shipping. If you automatic 5% off, and you get 2 free 1/8 upcut bits, and then $250 or more, you get automatic 10% off. The 2 free bits and the files that Liberty designed, these trivet files, these 4 holiday trivet files, which is super cool. And if you're $420 or more, then free shipping, the 2 bits, the trivet files, and while the supplies last, the IDC Woodcraft wall cap, right? And then
we're actually getting kind of low on the ball caps.
Okay, well, then we'll switch over to the ceramic mug. All right, so we run out of ball caps with the ceramic mug. All right, okay, I have talked enough about all this stuff. It's just so cool. I mean, the holidays are coming. I'm going to Pennsylvania. My sister-in-law is spending the holidays in the hospital. She's with cancer, so we'll be there hanging out with her. Okay, I'm kind of talked out. Kyle, what's going on with you, brother? All right, we're gonna anyway. Julianne will be in the background taking care of your stuff, all right, and getting the links put in, and she'll pop out as she needs to. And if I disappear, it's because we're having technical difficulties here. And she'll pop in and say it. All right. Okay, Kyle, what's going on, brother?
How's it going?
Yeah.
I'm excited this week. We got the new Vectric EasyCreate tool that came out, their new AI tool. And also we have our Black Friday going on too. So I'm sure Julianne will probably link that in there. But yeah, what's going on with you, Garrett?
Well, I just kind of pretty much told you everything that's going on with me.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So you got a Black Friday thing going on. So I think there were some comments in there asking about that. So why don't you talk about what your Black Friday is? And folks, we'll link that in the description.
Yes. So my Black Friday is 30% off all of our Vectric courses. So yeah, the Vectric Master Training course, and we have our weekly live group training community. And that will be 30% off for the annual plan on that. Okay.
All right. Wow. 30% off. That's nice.
Yeah. Our biggest sale of the year.
Okay. So Kyle is like, he's got the only Vectric, full-blown Vectric training course out there. And he's got quite a community. A lot of people that are hanging here are in his community and have his courses. Liberty's taking his courses. It's so cool because Liberty is like, she'll be doing things. I'll say, how'd you do that? Right. She got it from your course. I'm like, I didn't know that existed.
That's awesome.
All right. So briefly talk about your course, and we'll talk about it again in a little while.
Yeah, so basically Vectric Master Course is for those that like to learn things step by step rather than just kind of scattered knowledge of it. So this will take you through as if you're an absolute beginner, just opening the software, and all the way up until you're creating toolpaths and creating 3D models and doing anything you want to do in the software, basically. It'll take you through every step of the whole process. And then the live group training community, that's where we get in live together every week on Zoom calls, and we do Q&As, and we do project lessons every week. And then we have a community where we do monthly challenges and all kinds of fun support and questions and projects, all kinds of things. All the latest and greatest stuff that comes out with Vectric, we cover those in those live lessons every week.
All right, Liberty, talk a little bit about Kyle's course. So first of all, for those of you who are just getting into CNC and you're trying to DIY your learning on Vectric on YouTube, Liberty,
Yeah. So Kyle's course is a complete A to Z, 1 to 10,100,000 course where he walks you through each and every step of the Vectric's design software. And like you said, he updates all of the time. As a beginner myself, I knew nothing. Like, I know we've got a lot of people who are like, oh, we've got engineer background, or I've got this background. Like, Garrett, you've got engineering background. Like, that's great. I don't. So Kyle's course was an amazing way to get into all of this and really take everything step by step. And I'm actually going back through it right now because I'm getting ready to hopefully gear up to do a few more videos and get a lot more carves out. So I'm like, okay, I need to, brush up on everything. And I'm just literally going back through and just picking and choosing some subjects. I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't think I know enough about that. I don't remember enough about that. And I'm just watching that thing. And again, underneath each one, there's practice courses or practice instructions and things like that. And I encourage you, do the practice work. Do the practice work, because if you learn how to use the tool in the way that he's shown you with the practice that he's given you, then you won't have as hard a time referencing back to it when you are getting into a project and you're designing something. It's like, oh, well, which tool do I need now? How do I use that tool? His course, you already use the tool in 4 different ways.
Yep. So basically, it works like this, folks. If you've invested a ton of money in a machine and all that stuff, invest in your knowledge on this, because that's going to get you going. All right. So, folks, we got to get rolling on here. So, Kyle, Vectric did release this new thing. So I think it's a great time to talk about that, and then we'll start working on the questions. Folks, we already got 43 questions in the queue, so we'll see what we can do here. But Kyle, go ahead and talk about what we got going on here.
Yeah, it's Vectric's new EasyCreate tool. And I think instead of me blabbing about it, I think it'd be best just to show it on screen. Yeah. Yep. So I'll share my screen.
Show us.
And at the same time, we have a little birthday surprise for you that me and my students worked on in our project lesson we did today.
Oh, so cool.
Here is Vectric's new AI tool. It's called EasyCreate. Anybody that's looking for it, just go to easycreate.vectric.com. You can find it. And they just released it this week. I've been beta testing it for the past few weeks. And this is completely separate from Vectric's platforms that they have now. This is a web-based platform that you can use. And you have 2 options. You can either create a model from scratch just by typing in what you want, and it will pop out the model. Or you can upload an image and create a 3D model from the image. So basically, it's a way to create 3D relief models for your CNC with either a prompt or an image that you upload. And it's a really fast and powerful way to do this. And then after you're done, you can import it into VCarve or Aspire directly. The other thing that's really cool about this is now they allow you to save in V3M format. which allows you to upload as many 3D models as you want into VCarve. Which
Oh,
before
really?
you could not do that. So that's really powerful about this. I really like that feature.
Wow.
And it's really simple to use. And it costs $20 for 200 credits. And it ends up costing about 50 cents per model that you generate. So
Okay.
it's really easy, and there's no subscription. I really like that as well. You just pay for the credits, use them when you need them, and then if you run out, you can buy more when you're ready. So I really like this new platform that they made.
Oh, that's so cool. All right.
So here I'm gonna show you an example of one I created, and here's a little birthday surprise for you. We made IDC Woodcraft man.
IDC man. Oh,
I like it.
yes. Woo!
So this is an image I uploaded of you, and I actually told it to make it into a superhero like this, and it generated it just from that image and the prompt.
That is
And
so cool.
we played around with it. It did a few more things. We made you with a big bit on a mountain. So that's you there. And here's another version of it. So it's more like a comic book style.
Right.
So you can literally type in whatever you want, and it will generate it from an image or from a prompt.
That is so cool. I want to carve these.
Really powerful.
Yeah.
I'll have to send them to you if you want to carve them out.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Thank you. I'm flattered.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. And what a perfect way to teach people about this thing. So, and it's really easy to use. So I guess just to experiment with it, right?
Yeah. And we can even try it out right now if you want to.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of something you want to create? Could be anything you can imagine.
Yeah. Silly Dog was asking how long did it take to do that?
Oh, I could show you right now. It takes a couple seconds.
Okay.
So if you want to create something from scratch, you use the prompt, right, where it says create. If you want to upload an image, you can click the upload button and you can drop an image right in there. I can actually show you. That's probably a better way to do that.
Okay.
We can upload. There's the images I used for those prompts.
Okay.
So here's one, or I can use one, and you can tell it to do something else using your face. So I think that was really cool. So if we upload this image, once you upload it, you have an option to enhance it. This costs a credit to use. Each credit costs about 10 cents. Okay. So you could skip this, or you can use the enhancement. And what I really like is this custom enhancement. This is where it allows you to change what the picture looks like. So I can say, make this man a superhero. And I'll say flying through the sky or something like that. And you could type literally whatever you want there and click enhance. And that will take that image and turn it into something else. And this is just an image. I took a screenshot of one of your YouTube thumbnails for this image. So if you have a better image, you could do that. Look at that. A couple of seconds, all it took to do that. And now I took your face and put it on this and made it look really cool. And then you have an option to remove the background if you wanted to do that, or you can crop it. And you just have to be careful with the background remover. I find that sometimes it removes some of the details. Okay. So you can always remove that later. And then once you're done with the image, if you want to change it, you can go back and make some changes. Or if you want to generate a 3D model, this costs 4 credits. And this will be about 40 cents for this part. And now it'll generate a 3D model based off of that image. And then once you're done with that, you can edit it if you want to, or you could then download it right away and then import it into your software and cut it out. So it's really quick and easy to use. This is the most time-consuming part here is when it generates into a 3D model, but usually takes less than a minute to 30 seconds.
Okay. Wow, I love AI. So Paul asked, was this going to work for 11.5, version 11.5?
Yes,
11?
It'll work for any version of the software, which is really nice. That's why I said it's not tied directly to your software. So once we're done with this model, you click download down here. And if you download it as a V3M format, you can import it to any version of VCarve or Aspire. Even if you had version 8 or something, you can import it.
Okay. What's the format? The
V3M. It's Vectric's native file format.
Okay.
And like I said, the nice thing about that is now you can import as many models that you create from here into VCarve. So there's no file limit anymore with VCarve if you use these formats.
Okay, cool. Oh, I love it. I can't wait to
Look at
use
that.
this.
It's really cool. And then you have so many options in here to make adjustments. So let's say I wanted to adjust the height of this. There's like these things you can grab here and make all kinds of really detailed adjustments. There's also some presets in here. You can enhance the detail if you want more detail. You can replace the background if you want to get rid of the background, or you can scale the Z height to make it thicker. There's so much things you can do in here. If it has a little bit of a warpage in here, you could bring it up in the center or down. All kinds of things you could do with this tool. It's really powerful. I really love how easy they made it to use. And then you can always reset it back to the defaults if you don't like what you did there.
Right.
And there's materials. You can change colors if you want to view it in different materials. You can even use custom colors. So that's really handy to have. And then once you're done, like I said, you just download it, upload it to your software, and then you can carve it out. You can also use the sketch carving toolpath with this if you don't want to carve it as a 3D model.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Yeah, Julianne, I'm assuming you put the link to that in there, right? The grab that web page and put it in there so people can find it. But really, it's just search for EasyCreate Vector. That's all. Vectric. That's all I did, and it popped up.
Yeah, all the cost is $20 to get started, and you can make a bunch of models with just that $20. So I think it's well worth it.
Right. Oh, speaking of 3D, he's got Mike Mazelic is out in the crowd. So yeah, I want to say hello to Mike because it's been a long time since I've seen him. And so Mike Mazelic does training with you.
Actually, Michael's off doing his own thing now. Yep, we just had his final session recently, and he's off doing his own thing now.
Okay. All right. Cool. EasyCreate. Any other questions based on that are out there, Julianne, that you saw? Maybe we need to pop in before we move on to the other questions. We got a lot of questions in the queue. We're gonna burn through these, Kyle. We'll try to get we'll try to get to all of them, folks.
Bring them on.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, let's start rocking and rolling on this. Just want to remind you, yeah, just real quick, this banner that's going across the bottom, that is a discount code. I'm doing a flash sale for my birthday on the brushes here. So these are the Dremel brushes. So, but if you go with the Black Friday stuff and you get the $250 or more, then you're already going to get the 10% off on that anyway. Okay, let's rock and roll. Let's get some of these questions knocked out.
All right, Garrett and ladies from Swan. This is a hard question to ask. After all is entered and set up, and I want to hit calculate on Vectric Pro 12.5. How do I get carving? Where is the go button?
Yeah, once you create your toolpaths, you're going to want to click this little button here, Save Toolpath. That will save your toolpaths that you create. So all your toolpaths will show up on the list at the bottom. You're going to click Save Toolpath, select all the ones you want to save, and then choose your machine and your post-processor and click Save Toolpath. And then from there, you take that gCode files that you created and run them on your machine. You'll have to upload them to your, usually like a flash drive that you transport out to your CNC, and then you could load them on there and run them from your controller.
Okay.
All right. I just saw a question pertaining to the, okay. What is the benefit of having a Spire if you have EasyCreate?
That's if you still want to create your own custom 3D models. So EasyCreate is great for uploading an image and turning it into a model, or typing in whatever you want and spits out as a model. But let's say you wanted a 3D model, a custom guitar. I would not trust EasyCreate to get the dimensions and everything all accurate the way you want it to. There's still going to be a lot of use cases where you're going to still want to use Aspire to create your own things. However, if you're just wanting to carve 3D models and you have VCarve already, I would just stick with VCarve and EasyCreate. It's going to be a much cheaper option and much quicker. And you can do it that way. But if you want to create your own custom 3D models, also edit current models that you import, there's a lot of things you could still do in Aspire that you cannot do in VCarve. So I would just say push VCarve to its limits as much as you can. And if you ever break those limits where you really need Aspire, then that's when I would look into upgrading.
Beautiful. How difficult is it to create the toolpaths when you download a EasyCreate project, especially if you have zero experience with 3D?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, if you don't have zero experience, it's not too hard. You can see if we go back to our model that we made just now, I can download it as a V3M file. That's going to save it to my computer. And then once that saves, then we can upload it to either VCarve or Aspire. So that just saved. Now we can go into Aspire or VCarve, import the model, and we'll find that one here in our downloads. Click open, and then we can position it wherever you like. In VCarve and Aspire, you still have a lot of options. You can scale it, you can resize it, you can add more clip art to it if you want to add more stuff to it. Basically anything you can imagine you can do. And this is where you would set up your toolpaths. I'm not going to get into this whole process because there's a lot of steps involved, and we already have some training videos out there for that. But I would recommend, if you're just getting started and you're not ready to take the dive into 3D models yet, check out this sketch carving toolpath. You just click on that. You do have to position this in the material. So your model thickness cannot exceed your material thickness. You can either increase the thickness of your material, or you can decrease the thickness of your model to fit in there. So let me just scale that down to fit into our material. Click OK. And this is the sketch carving toolpath. You could set it as a 3D model and just use a V-bit to carve this. And then you adjust your line thickness. You can see all those green lines. If you look at it in the 2D view, it's nice and easy to see. All the green area is going to be what's carved. And then you can adjust the line thickness based on the level of detail you want to carve it. So you can play around with that and then click calculate. And this is a really quick and easy way to generate a toolpath from the 3D model. So now if we preview that and take a look at that, that's what we just generated from that. That's just a simple carving. But like I said, if you want to do a 3D carving, you would have to do the roughing toolpath, 3D roughing and 3D finishing. And that will take a few steps to set up, but it's really honestly not that hard. It's just a little intimidating at first, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have experience with the 3D carving, just experiment in the software a few times. Join Kyle's course, because he covers all that stuff and walks you through the entire process on that. Right? Don't try to go from basic designing. Don't try to skip basic designing to get to 3D models. You're gonna turn. It's gonna turn into a train wreck.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Yeah.
All right. Kyle, I was looking at your Black Friday sale on your courses, but didn't see a discount to upgrade from VCarve to Aspire. Will you be offering a discount for upgrades?
Yes, we do have those available. If you go to our Black Friday sale page, look like this. And if you scroll down to the FAQ page, the second one from the bottom, there's the link right there to upgrade. So you can go check that out if you want to. And I believe Julian linked this page in the chat.
Well, how long is your Black Friday sale going?
It's going until next Wednesday.
Okay.
Midnight Thursday, which is actually midnight Wednesday
All right,
night.
Folks, 30% off. That's insane. Right?
Huge.
Jump on it. We'll send emails out to CNC Insiders. We'll remind you several times. All right, next question. Let's do it.
All right. Kyle, been an MBR since 22. Could you explain machine acceleration, please, and what it's for in Toolpath summary and estimated times? Thank you.
Yeah, that's something Vectric recently just added. It's in the summary, Toolpath summary, and you'll see it here called machine acceleration. This was Vectric's way of making this time estimation a little bit more accurate. This you have to get from your specific machine manufacturer. Everyone's going to be different, but if you click the edit button on this page, down here, you're going to see acceleration. And this is going to be basically how fast your machine accelerates in the X, Y, and Z. And you can also put the angle as well. This, like I said, you're not going to be able to know this just by looking at your machine. You're going to have to actually contact your manufacturer if they don't have these specifications already on their website somewhere. But these are going to be values that you enter in here, and this will make your machine cut time estimation in Vectric a little bit more accurate. You don't have to use that. You could just use a scale factor, but that one is kind of a guessing game. The machine acceleration, just a little bit more accurate way of calculating things.
So for those who don't understand the acceleration, it's so when the motors start to turn to move something, it has to speed up to get to speed.
Yeah.
So that's the acceleration, how much time it takes going from no motion to get into that rate of speed that it's going up to. And then there's also deceleration, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess they're using as the same factor in the software there.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
For high level CNC machines like the industrial, they figure all that stuff out. You get a machine, they got all these charts that shows all these accelerations and movements and stuff. They go deep into it.
Oh yeah, especially metal machining.
Yeah.
You got to be precise. You got to be calculated.
Yeah. Well, you're paying, $2 million for a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Garrett, when I'm running a program, can I change the spindle RPM and cut depth on the fly? If so, how do I do that? From William.
Cut depth, not definitely not. The feed rate, it does depend on what machine you're using. So that stuff you cannot change on the fly directly from Vectric, because Vectric's not running your machine. Vectric is just telling the directions for your machine what to do. And then when you upload the gCode file to your CNC controller, some controllers have settings where you can adjust on the fly. You have to check with your controller to see if that's possible.
Yeah. So I use the gSender. I'm going to take over for a second. And gSender, let's see, it's not connected right now, but gSender has that setting. So let's turn that on. And if you're using gSender, this little window's in the way there. Okay. So you see right here on this blue band at the bottom, you can adjust the feed rate on the fly right there in gSender. So this is, and then the red band is you can adjust your spindle speed on the fly. So you have that feature, but you have to set it up. If you don't know how to set that up, I got it's an 1.5-hour tutorial, runs through the entire gSender software. So go watch that. We'll link that video. And that will show you how to configure your gSender so you can do that.
Silly Dog, I wanted to bring your question in real quick. How much hard drive should I buy to accommodate your course and Aspire? As far as Aspire, I have no idea how much it takes up. But as far as the course, it's completely online.
Yep. No need to
no need to worry about hard drive space. Yeah, storage space.
Also, Vectric has, if you go to their FAQ on their homepage at the bottom, it'll tell you the specs you need for system requirements.
Beautiful. All right, Dennis, question for Kyle. Using Aspire 12.5, when I save a toolpath, the software adds to the name I assign. How do I change this?
Oh.
Yeah, that depends on what you're doing. There are some options in here where it says I add side name to toolpath name. That's if you're doing a double-sided project. That's one option there. There may be some things in the edit options menu you can take a look at. It's probably in the toolpath settings. Here we go. Append new toolpaths. These might be some of the options in there. You might have to look through some of these. But also when you save it, it depends on how many sheets you have and what kind of toolpaths you're saving. But if you tell me which what it's appending with, I might be able to give you a better answer. Some post processors also add a name there, so you have to check your post processor as well.
All right. How do I get the code line numbers to display? I updated the UGS to the latest version, and all it shows is the G-code, not the line, and the message to restart it says it was stopped at line 1. From Black Creek Design.
Yeah, he wants line numbers to display. So the line numbers have to be put into the G-code. That's the post processor is telling it to do that.
It's usually in the controller where it shows like the line number, even if the line number is not in the.
Okay.
Because the line numbers aren't usually in the G-code file itself. That's
Right.
usually displayed on the controller side. So maybe there's a setting in the controller you can change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're using UGS, so I don't use UGS anymore. UGS is like, it's like using Windows 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so clunky. If you're using UGS, I suggest you get GSender. One of the features I like about the GSender software too is if it faults, if there's like your power goes out, it holds it'll tell you where it dropped out at. You can click a button and it'll tell you we dropped at line 1,500, and then do you want to start at line 1,490? You can tell it where you want it to start at, and it'll do all the configuration. It'll bring it up to speed. It'll position the spindle back in a position. It's really cool little feature.
There's another free software I would recommend. It's a website, ncviewer.com. If you go to ncviewer.com, you can upload your G-code file and it will tell you the numbers on there for the line numbers. I don't know if that'll help you, but that's an option you can try.
Speaking of websites, Kyle, let's tell people about the CNC Hub, the website you built.
Oh yeah, so CNC Hub is our website that we made for quickly finding CNC machines. If you're not sure what machine to buy, or you're trying to figure out which one works best for you, we have a short little quiz you can take to get personalized recommendations, or you can go to the shop page and you can actually find the machines you like with a lot of filters. You can compare them side by side. So let's say you like 2 of these machines, you can click compare and you can compare them side by side, and you can see all the different features and everything. It's a completely free website. There's nothing you need to sign up for on this. You can create an account if you want, but it's just to save everything. And then we have a deals page. Any CNC deals that are going on, we add to that page, and you could shop by brand, see what all the brands are out there. And we have all kinds of even creators. So if you want to see what your favorite creators are using, like Garrett, you can click on him, see what machine he's running in the software and his groups and his links to some of his videos. You can all find all in one place. So we try to make this website nice and easy to use to be able to find everything you may want on one website.
That is epic.
Yeah, I try to build it in mind with people trying to find what they're trying to use for their software or their machine, because I know a lot of people starting out, they get very confused. There's so many machines out there. Which one should you buy? Just try to make that a little easier.
Yeah, a little bit of a funnel system for everybody.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
Guess Garrett dropped out on us.
Yes, he did. Looks like he's back in. You want to pop up? Nope, he's gone. He keeps popping back in, so I'm not sure what's going on. So we'll see.
Oh, guess we'll continue the party without him.
Right? It's very windy here, so I'm wondering if he's going to have issues with that out there more so this evening than we did last week. All right. Yeah, we can party without him. Oh, here's a good question. Okay. If I want to make something that is larger than my CNC working area, I'm guessing the tile feature can be used, but how does it work?
Yes, tile feature is going to be found in the software. It's going to be down here called Tile Toolpaths on the Toolpath tab. That one, you just open up this manager here. You check on the option to tile it. You first have to design your project the full size that you're trying to make. Let's say you're trying to make a 4x8 whole sheet of material and your machine is only 4x4. You could design it 4x8 and then create all your toolpaths that you need to, and then you're going to do this as your last step. And then you're going to feed through the X direction or the Y direction. It's typically going to be the Y. And you will type in your tile height. So in that case, I just gave you, do it 48 inches. And then it would do 2 tiles. The first tile would be the bottom section. The second tile would be the top. And then when you do this, it'll automatically split your toolpaths for you. So I can show you an example here. This one is 20 inches tall. If I type this in to be 10 inches tall and click update, you can see it just cut my toolpath in half. So it's still a single toolpath. And if I switch which tile is active, I can now split this into 2 different toolpaths. So if I wanted to do that in 2 sections, I can. Or if you want to split it in smaller sections, you can make even more tiles. And what that will do is allow you to save each section as their own tiles. And then, of course, when you actually machine this, you do have to be very careful with your alignments. There's a lot of times you can drill a hole into your spoil board and use what's called like a pin method to be able to index your sheet as you pull it through. That's a really good way to do it so you don't mess it up. I also like to use a fence on the side to help me keep it aligned through the y-axis. And you can also just measure it and move it, but the pin method is a little bit more accurate.
Beautiful. Welcome back, boss. Yeah, the tiling is one thing that is on my early list to tackle with the smaller machine that I chose, because it's like, okay, well, it's smaller. Now let's try tiling.
Yeah. So great feature to have if you have a small machine.
Yeah. All right.
What is this window real quick? Not my computer. I had to reboot the computer.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
So
is the
we're
tile
talking about
toolpath
tiling.
Okay.
for people with small machines.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. All right. Can't wait for this. I'm trying to get this old Laguna IQ up and running. I was wondering if it's possible to hook up a computer to the Laguna IQ.
That's out of my wheelhouse there. I don't have any experience with Laguna.
Neither do
I would recommend you hop on a Laguna forum and see if somebody on there can help you. That's probably going to be your best bet.
Yep.
Hey, folks, let's get a thumbs up. We have over almost 600 people on board, and we only have 147 thumbs up on the video.
Oof.
Got to get those thumbs up going.
Yeah, let's get likes on the videos. All right, go ahead.
All right. Let's see, get to page. All right. I am brand new with an Axiom 2x2. I home the X and Y and then home the Z. Once I hit start, the machine does not move to the correct spot on my material. What am I doing wrong?
So homing it is different from setting your work 0. That might be what you're doing wrong. When you home the machine, it may just move to the corner and it says, oh, that's home. But if our material is out away from that home, you have to move your machine to that location wherever you set up in your project. So you're going to look for your X, Y datum in your Z0 position. Wherever you set that up in your software, you want that to match on your machine. So you move your bit to that spot and then set your work zeros there. There should be a button that says set 0 for X, Y, and Z. And then you would do that, and that would set up your position where your machine's going to start from for that project. Also, make sure you don't have any offsets or anything set up for your XY datum. Sometimes that messes people up.
Beautiful. All right. Tim, I have a bitmap copy of a lake and was wondering what would be the best toolpaths and bits to use. A roughing toolpath won't work in a bitmap carve, will it? Thanks.
Yeah, if you have an image, I would try the sketch carving toolpath. That's a great way to carve images like that. And you can just use a V-bit to carve it out. But if you're trying to make it 3D, then you might want to try out that Vectric's new EasyCreate tool. You can upload the image and it'll turn it into a 3D model. And then from there, you can run it as a 3D toolpath. I think that would be the best way to go. And if you're doing 3D toolpaths, you're typically going to be using ball nose or tapered ball nose bits.
And I know we've answered a lot of questions about upgrades, but Jack is wondering how much for a Kyle clone?
They're in development. No, just kidding. We do have a Spindle Sam, what we call on our courses, where it's learned from all of our lessons. So if you go to our courses, wherever that's at here, and we have a button here. It's called Spindle Sam. You can type in any Vectric questions you want, and it has we uploaded all the videos from our courses, and it will give you the exact answer for all your CNC questions whenever you can't get access from me.
That's cool.
So that's one thing we try to do to help make it easier for people to find those answers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Debbie, I have 2 questions. Job setup, i.e. thickness of wood, 0.750. 3, toolpath cutting depths, start depth, 0.0 cut depth equals 0.50 or. Hang on.
Maybe she's confused about the start depth. So
yeah,
basically, yeah. If you're cutting through the material, then you're going to want to use cut depth. If you're starting already inside of a pocket or something, that's when you would use start depth. That's going to be less commonly used. So most of the time, you're going to be always using cut depth.
Yeah. So if you're going to start carving inside of a pocket at the bottom of the pocket, and you're going to do some carving like letters, and let's say your pocket is 1/4 inch deep, then you're going to make your start depth 0.25.
Yep.
And that'll take it down to the surface of that pocket, and then you plug in the cut depth would be, say if you're going to cut at 0.4, then you type in 0.4 for the cut depth.
Yeah.
All right. Michael, what do you recommend for PVA foam and what feeds and speeds? Thanks.
I don't really have much experience with PVA foam. I know I have a lot of students that work with it, and I believe they use O-flute bits. I could be wrong, but I would say,
sorry,
just my experience with working with acrylic, I like to cut faster on materials like that, so you're not cutting too slow and causing too much heat buildup. So generally, you're going to do faster feed rates, but like I said, I don't have much experience with that, so maybe somebody else can chime in on that.
Yeah, foam actually cuts pretty easy. Yeah, people use you can use the O-flute. You can even use end mills on it, V-bits. Remember the foam the guy brought on Liberty with the boxes, and the foam was cut beautifully. You use the same tools and everything before he carved into the wood, so he can make sure his project came out cool.
I went ahead and purchased some foam to do some trial projects as well. Because of that. All right. Is there a way to have toolpaths with different bits in the same file?
Yes. And basically, you can save as many toolpaths in this list as you want, all having different tools. But just keep in mind, whatever you order them in, that's typically the way they will save. And some machines will give you an error if you try to save a file with multiple tools. So some of them you can group together. I know like the Onefinity, it will allow you to group all the bits together in one file. And then when it comes time to change, it will stop the machine and say, hey, you got to change the bit out. You would change it and then start it again.
Yeah.
That's some machines will do that. If your machine doesn't have that option, then what you have to do is click visible toolpaths to multiple files and click group where possible. When you check that option, if there are tools that have the same bit right together, it will automatically group those together into one file. And then if it has another tool with a separate bit, then it would save as a separate file. And then you would just run each file per bit that you have.
Yeah. So the post processor, when it's ready to generate to the post processor, the software knows the post processor, and the post processor is going to say whether it can have multiple tools to the same file. So if you're set up for the alt mill, it's going to give you an error.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to, if you check that option, it won't give you that error anymore.
Yeah.
So it'll automatically do it to multiple files. But make sure you do group where possible if you want them to save together, if you have multiples that are together.
Beautiful. All right, trying to do a VCarve, keep getting warning. Vectors may contain overlaps. How do I clean that up? Thanks. Well, it's like my favorite hyper focus is cleaning up files like that.
Yeah, that you can do with the what's called the vector validator tool. So if we hide this and let's just bring in some vectors with some overlaps like that, these are going to be considered intersections basically. So you have a couple of different ways. It could be an intersection, or if I duplicate this, it could be another one on top of another. And then if I click vector validator, which is this green check mark here in edit objects, and click search all, you're going to see all the errors it gives you where there's intersections or overlaps. So once you spot all those errors, you have to zoom in and figure out what's the issue there. So if it has a duplicate, you can simply clean them all up by right-clicking, go to select, vectors, all duplicate. And when you do that, it'll automatically select all the ones that are duplicates. And then you can just click delete on your keyboard to remove them, or you can put them to a separate layer or whatever you need to do to those. Now that just cleaned that issue up. And then if we search again, you can see now we're just left with those two issues left, which are intersections. And then this, you may have to use different methods to clean it up. You can either weld these together using the weld tool, that will fix it. Or if you don't want to weld those together, you might have to do other techniques like offset them and connect them together or something like that. But those would be many different ways you can solve issues like that. Sometimes the toolpath will just ignore those issues. You don't really have to fix all of them. But if it's skipping over a section of your toolpath, you definitely want to investigate it a little bit more and figure out what you need to do.
Hey, Kyle, there's a quick question on your courses.
Yeah.
It's from Silly Dog. So he's saying, does he need to purchase VCarve Masterclass and the Aspire Masterclass?
Oh, no. You just choose whichever one you want. So either or. If you have Aspire, go with the Aspire Master Course. If you have VCarve or Cut2D, go with the VCarve one. They're both the same course, except the Aspire one has extra training for 3D, all the 3D options that are available in Aspire.
Okay, so folks, Kyle's doing a Black Friday, and it's running now, right?
Yep.
30% off his courses and the annual membership for his subscription. So weekly
live training
stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
You got a great community in there too. You've got a really good community.
Yeah. We have a private community. We do monthly challenges and always are posting projects we're working on and everything. It's really good community.
All right. M. Karos. Happy birthday. Same day as me.
Woo! All right.
Happy birthday to you too.
To you. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Yeah, it's my birthday. Remember, we're doing this 10% sale on the brushes. These things are really cool. They really do clean up your project really nice. So I suggest you get them. They fit in your Dremels. We'll link it there. Use that discount code that's right there.
And Garrett, have a happy birthday drink on me. Congrats, William.
Yes, all right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I will. I actually want to go out after class tonight, after this tonight, and I kind of want to go down to that speakeasy. So we got like like a vintage bowling lane they just built, and they have like a speakeasy bar there. It is so cool. I mean, I want to go dress up speakeasy like. It's that
We're
cool.
going bowling Friday there.
Are you?
Yeah, it'll be my first time checking it out. So I'm excited to see the upper deck since they finally finished it.
That upper deck is so cool. And the bowling lanes are like a third of the length. And so the balls are about this big.
Yeah,
and,
it's duck pin bowling.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you, William. So I'll be going out and having a drink after this tonight.
Awesome. Good. All right. Hello to my two mentors, Kyle and Garrett. Question: how do I mill boards down to a specific thickness? I don't want to crash down on my material by zeroing off the bed. James.
Yeah, if you're trying to, is he trying to like surface the?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're trying to do that, I would recommend when you set up your project, set your Z0 on machine bed. That's going to be a much safer option. So you could zero your tools from your bed. That means you will have a much higher risk of cutting into your spoil board. And then you would make sure your thickness is very accurate when you do that. Because if that's not accurate, then you'll cause some issues. So make sure your thickness is set up accurate. And then from there, you just need to know if you're starting out with 3/4 inch material and you want to get it down to 1/2 inch, you're going to take a 1/4 inch off. So you'd set up a pocket toolpath to machine a 1/4 inch deep. And as long as everything's set up properly, it should work out just fine.
Yep.
Just set your cut depths properly.
What I would do though first is surface one side, get one side flat, flip over the board, and then get it down to thickness.
Yep, that's good. Good point too.
All right, and we've got William bought your drinks, and I will buy the pretzels from Silly Dog.
Sweet. So I like when I go out, I like to get the exotic drinks. Yeah, I don't just buy a beer. I get the exotic, whatever they like the bartender specials do. Those are the ones I like.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, got pretzels in my drink. Sweet. Thank you guys. And thank you for all the happy birthdays. They're still coming in. I see them in the chat there. Super cool.
They are.
Super cool. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, navigating through my things. Happy birthday, Garrett from Stewart's Woodwork. CNC newbie here. I have one question today. I have an open builds machine and haven't learned how to write gCode yet. Is there a site where I can buy gCode files ready to go?
Oh.
Yeah, so the gCode, you're not really going to write yourself. This is where Vectric software comes in. You would create your project as your design, generate a toolpath. Let's say we set this up as a pocket toolpath, cut it whatever depth you want here. And then from there, you would save it as gCode, and it'll automatically create the gCode for you. So you can see we generated that. I still have my tiling option on. That's why it's showing up too. But if we hide that, you can see that pocket toolpath we just made. And then from here, you can preview it. And there's a pocket we just made. Now we can check that on and go to Save Toolpath, save it using your post processor. And this will save specific to your machine. So you would go and find your open builds machine in the list here. There should be already in there. Select the post processor, save it, and then you take it to your machine and run it. I don't recommend getting gCode files from other people because it's specific to your machine, your setup, your size, everything. If anything is different, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go deeper on that because I just saw another one about the gCode. Someone was asking, okay, so he said, brand new CNC'er, do I have to buy a design program right out of the gate? Are there gCode ready files out there? So the answer is yes, you need to buy the design software because you want to, you need to make sure things are going to work for you the way you want to work it, and you got to design it. But so each CNC has built-in parameters that it needs to work by. And so if you're buying if you get a gCode file, then you plug it into your machine and it's not meeting those parameters, it can actually mess up and not have, when the post processor creates the code, the gCode, it's plugging in these different codes to configure the machine. And so if your machine's not configured and you're just buying a gCode from someone, it may crash your machine. You don't ever want to, if you get a gCode, then you always do a trial run. So I give gCodes with some of the things that I do, but I'm very specific in the instructions. So you always test without a bit first, and you set your Z really high, right? Because you just don't know if it's going to work on your machine or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Another drink. Guys, I'm gonna have to drive back home tonight. You got to remember that too. So
I'm gonna have to get an Uber back home.
I'll get an Uber. I'll get a Julianne or a Liberty driver.
I was gonna say, if you can make it the few blocks, great. If you can't, just give me a call. We'll get you.
Sweet.
All right.
You guys are awesome.
Will you be doing a video to show us how to use the tramming bars from Stubbs' mom?
I actually have a video already. I put it out a year ago, right? And I actually wanted these tramming bars done a long time ago. So we'll put that video in the description, Julianne. When I send the email out to the insiders about the tramming bar, we'll link the video in there too. It explains how to work with it.
All right. Give me
Those, yeah, about December 8th, we're going to release those.
All right. Dave Sims, I believe it's called fluting. I'm wanting to make some pocket crosses where the vertical part and the horizontal part have a smooth indication. Does this make sense? Or indentation, sorry.
Yeah. If it's fluting you're after, you can do that. Basically, it ramps in and ramps out, if that's what you're trying to do. And it is the fluting toolpath. You could do it with a simple line, or you can do it with a curve line or even a closed vector if you wanted to. But when you have those shapes, you can select those shapes. Let me close down that and do the fluting toolpath. And typically you use a ball nose for this, but you can use whatever bit you want, set whatever depth you want. Let's say an 1/8 inch deep, or even a 1/4 inch. Let's do a little deeper so you can see it. And then you have a few options. You can ramp over the complete length, ramp at the start, or ramp at the start and end. Choose your bit, and then you can choose a ramp type, linear, like an angle, or smooth, like an arc. And then you can calculate that. And when you preview it, you're going to see it's going to start at the surface and ramp its way down to your cut depth, and then come back out with the ramp. And like I said, there's many options you can choose from to edit that if you need to.
Yeah. Fluting is really cool. You can do lots of stuff with fluting.
Yep.
Soap dishes that'll drain.
Yep. Cutting boards with juice screws.
Yeah.
All kinds of things.
All right. I'm buying your after bartender specials coffee.
There you go. All right. So I'll be a wide awake drunk after the coffee. No, I won't get loopy. I don't get loopy anymore, but I do have a couple drinks. Thank you. I will take that too. You guys are funny. You guys are great.
All right. When designing in the modeling section, time permitting, can you glance over baking your design? Thanks.
Yeah, baking comes in when you want to combine models together permanently. So if you have multiple 3D models together and you want them all together, let's say we have this model of Garrett, and let's say we went to the clip art library and found a border in here that we wanted to use around it. Let's just use this circle rope border. And you'd have to resize it to whatever you wanted, and we can combine them together. Now, of course, there's a lot more we would need to do. We need to trim those corners away. And also we need to merge these, because you can see right now it is set to add. This is a combine mode, how it combines with the other model. So we need to switch the combine mode to merge. That way we don't have that little seam that you're seeing on the edges there. And once that switches over, you can see now it is merging together, no longer having that seam. And like I said, there's still some more things we need to do to this. We need to trim it all out and everything. But you have an option now to combine these together in a bake. So you can select 2 or more models, and you can either right click and go to bake up here, or you can do it in your design tab like you were saying. There's an icon way down here in the corner that says bake. And once you select your models and bake them together, like I said, they're going to be permanently baked together. So once I do that, I can no longer edit them individually. So that's helpful if you need that to bake together like that. But in this case, if you wanted to edit them separately, I can no longer do that. You can see now it's all one model. So you're kind of stuck with this. So what I recommend doing instead, if you still want to edit them individually, I'm going to undo that to bring them back separately. There's another option. If you have a spire, it's called create component from visible model. That option will make a copy of everything and bake it together. So when you click on that, it just made a copy of everything and baked it together. And then I have the originals still. So the originals I can hide out of the way. This one now is all baked together. But if I wanted to edit this, I can go back to the originals later. So that's what I recommend doing if you want to edit those originals. But basically, it just keeps everything combined together as one model. It's a little bit easier to work with that way if you need to bake it all together. You don't have to bake them, but it is a good option if needed.
Beautiful. Okay, one more drink from Jeff Scott.
That's 2 drinks there, 25 bucks.
So it looks like you might need to play some duck pin tonight. Find some friends.
Yeah, for sure. But I'll have to get the 2 ladies to come down, join me.
I am kid free tonight.
You guys are great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yep.
How do you convert an imported file that is in millimeters to inches in VCarve?
If you have a inch file set up and you import a millimeter file, it will be in inches when you import it. However, if it's separate, so it does depend if it's a 3D model or if it's a vector file. If it's a 3D model, when you do an import, it's going to have an option to convert to millimeters or inches with one click of a button. You'll see a button on the 3D file importer that will say that. If you click that, it converts it right away, and it's quick and easy. If it's a vector file, there's a little bit more involved with it, but a simple way to do it is just to go to your scale tool, and then you have an option here to link the X and Y together. And here for your inches, if I wanted to convert that, we can do times M equals, and that will convert it to metric. Or if it was the other way around, I want to convert it back to inches, I can do times I, which will convert it back to inches, and click equals. So that's a quick and easy way. And once you do that, you will click apply, and that will scale it based on those new values.
So you typed in times I to go to inches and times M to go to metric?
Yep.
Okay.
You have to use the asterisk symbol. It's like a little star symbol.
Yep.
All right. Is there a way to have two different tool databases, one that is a working database that only has the bits that I use, and a database that has all the bits from everyone's databases?
For that, I would recommend using groups. So you can see these groups here. We have Imperial tools, we have metric tools, and then you can make a new group by yourself. I would make a group that says my tools, and then I would make another group that says everyone else's tools. And you can keep your tools in your group, and you can put everyone else's tools in the other groups. And then when you're not using them, you can just collapse them and just expand the ones you're using. I think that would be the better way to do it.
And how do they copy the tools into the group, the new group?
You could, when you import them, let's say you downloaded IDC Woodcraft's bit set. When you do this import tool database here, make sure you select the group that you want to go into and click that import button, and that should import it right into that that group that you have selected. Or if it's not in the correct group, you can also click and drag them to different areas. You can also click and drag an entire group into another group. So that's another way you can do it as well.
Okay.
Right.
Matt Mato is asking how much is this program, is the Vectric program? So
the software?
yeah.
Aspire is going to be around $2,000, which is their highest one. And then VCarve Pro, I think, is around $750 or $799, somewhere in that range. That's the one I generally recommend people start with.
Mm-hmm.
You can always upgrade, no matter which software platform you choose from Vectric, they allow you to upgrade for just the price difference, which is really handy to have. So you can upgrade whenever you're ready. So start with whatever you think you need, bare minimum. And then if you want to upgrade later, you only pay the price difference. You don't have to pay anything extra. And I think VCarve Desktop is around $350.
Okay. VCarve Desktop will go up to, it'll program up to 24 by 24. It'll allow you to, you can tile, but it won't write gCode bigger than 24 by 24.
Correct. Yep.
So you can tile longer, but it'll have to be two separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm glad I was over in the right comments when this one popped in. Dusty Woodcutter question from last week. How do you do raised text in a dish?
In a dish. Well, if you have a Spire, it's going to be super easy. If you don't have a Spire, it's going to be definitely not as easy. I'll just show you really quickly. If we go to Aspire, you can go to the clip art. You can find one of these domes and dishes. You can also find these in VCarve Desktop and VCarve Pro. Just double click on one of those to bring it into your job. And I'm going to get rid of our other 3D model for now. And that will come in as a dome. And if you want to make it a dish, you just drop down this properties and you turn it to subtract mode. That will now make it a dish shape. And then, of course, you can scale it whatever size you want. And then you can also adjust the thickness, however deep you want it to go. So that is the dish part. And then to add text, specifically stack text, this is where, like I said, it's going to be way easier in Aspire. It's not impossible with VCarve, but it's going to be a lot more complicated process. I do have a YouTube video I have on a trick for this, for VCarve. It's probably going to be a lot longer than we can have time for explaining here. But let's just make one here. We'll say IDC, and I'll type that out and place that there. And then let's just make another one that says Woodcraft. And we'll make these our stack text. So you can place those wherever you want. You can scale them however you like. And then here is where the magic comes in. We're going to convert these into 3D. So this is, like I said, you need a Spire for this. We could take one of these and use our modeling tools down here. And you can use any of the top row. Depends on what style you're looking for here. So let's say if we did an angular shape component, we can do that one. And I like to do this in the 3D view because you can just click and drag these. And look at that. You can start to pop in that 3D model. And since it's in a dish, it's going to make the curvature of that dish, and you'll be able to add it in there. So you can edit this however much you want to make that look the way you want it to. And then once you have that set up, we can now take that and then click away from, you can give it a name if you want, and then we can close that out. Now let's select our Woodcraft and let's do the same. We're going to create an angled component. We're going to give it some depth and thickness here. And this is where it's going to get tricky because they're going to want to combine together in different ways. So I'll show you how we can correct this. I'm going to give it some thickness to work with. And let's click close. So there we have both text that are overlapping as stacked text. But as you can see, where they overlap, that's where we have the issues. So there's multiple ways you could go about this problem. However, the best way I think would be the easiest way is, let me first delete these extra things in here to make this less confusing. So right now we have our dish, we have the IDC part, and we have the Woodcraft part. And they're all in one level. So this is why it's making it hard for it to combine together properly. So I'm going to insert a new level. I'm going to take the dish. I'm going to right click and duplicate that. And I'm going to put that dish copy into level 2. So right now there's 2 copies there. And then I'm going to take one of the words, doesn't matter which one, I'm going to pop that into level 2 as well. So now what I basically just did was made one level with one word and the dish, and the other one with the other level and the dish. But right now, the way they're combining together, they're adding together. So at the level, we can right click and change that to merge, and then right click on that one, change it to merge, and look at that. Now you're getting them where they interact properly together. And then from here, you can adjust the depths. If you wanted to make one pop out from the other, you can do that. And you have now stacked text in a dish. Of course, there's a lot more you can do with this, but that's just kind of the basic steps you would need to create something like that.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Like I said, it's way easier in Aspire. It is still possible with VCarve. There's just a lot more steps that are going to be involved to make that work properly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we got about 10, maybe 15 more minutes. So folks, I just want to remind you, Kyle's got this, his master course, right? So if you're getting the VCarve, he's got one level. And if you want to have the Aspire, he's got the next level. And also he's got his weekly training courses. And a lot of people join on that. That's on Zoom. And either you, Kyle, or somebody else will be training some from your team. And so he's doing a Black Friday, 30% off right now. So definitely time to jump on board on that. IDC Woodcraft is also doing its Black Friday. So you can go to the website, you click that banner right at the top, says Black Friday, click that, and that'll take you to the page of all the stuff that is Black Friday. And links are being put in right now from Julianne. So that's, there you go. Also, because my birthday, we're doing that little 10% special, 10% off special. If you just need to get your little brushes, right? So you just use that code that's streaming along the bottom, and we'll have a link in there too for that. And just use that code at the bottom of the screen here as your checkout and as you're checking out, and you'll get the 10% off of that. And I just want to show you one more thing. So I did get that. I repositioned these clamps on a new board.
Yep, I can.
Yeah, I'll take over on that. Okay, there we go. So so the board I had on there before, it's got it's all finished. It's really smooth. So that's why it knocked off. So I did it on this one here. These little tiny clamps. So these are the edge hugger clamps that are going to be available from IDC Woodcraft shortly. We invested in the company that developed these clamps. So little tiny clamps, very small footprint. You can see how low they are. They're less than 1/4 inch, grabbing over the wood, less than 1/4 inch high. So they're really nice for low profile, and very strong. They put up maybe you can get up to 1,000 pounds of force per clamp. So those are going to coming out on December 26th. We have a list for that, and you can sign up for that list. We're putting that in here. Get on the list because we only have 1,000, like 600 people are already on that list, right? So these things, there's only 4. We're only getting 1,000 sets to start off with.
Question about the clamps. Do you have different lengths of bolts for different thicknesses of wood?
Yes. Yeah. I'll be releasing a video. I'll be putting a video out for those on the email list. It'll explain how this all works. So yes, there's different screw lengths for the different thicknesses of wood. Yes. And that video explains to you how it's all set up. So the way they're set up, we can go from a 1/4 inch or 5 millimeters, that was just less than a 1/4 inch, all the way up to 1.5 inches with the kit that it comes with, as far as clamping thickness.
Beautiful. And I do want to answer this question real quick. Garrett and Liberty, is the CNC G-Sender computer and the IoT in stock in Madison, or does it ship from Canada? It does, in fact, ship from CNC Labs. It does not ship from us. We carry some of their items, but we do not carry them in store. That would be that. We don't have room for that. How do you get on the list? The CNC Insiders or the
So
Edge
the
Huggers
list for the clamps, that's the Edge Hugger list. Julianne, I guess you got the.
I think that's right above in the comments, sir.
Okay. Yep. It's right in the comments. It'll be in the description as well.
Put that in. Mm-hmm.
We'll put it in one more time.
All right.
Next question.
All right, perfect. Message for Kyle. How do you improve the efficiency of a 3D roughing and finishing toolpaths? Seems like all of mine come out to be extreme times and I end up never completing the project. From Stigaljipi.
Yeah, a great question. I do a lot of these in our live Q&As because a lot of people have that same issue. So we always inspect their files and see what's going on there. Typically, what's going on there is your feed rates and plunge rates are lower than they should be. Your step over may need adjusting, especially for the roughing. You can usually go a little bit more aggressive on the step over. And the depth per pass on the roughing will help as well. And then maybe if you're machining too far outside of the model, sometimes people have a crazy offset out of there. Sometimes you don't need all that offset. You can dial that back a little bit. And also make sure your material setup is correctly positioned inside of your, the model's positioned in the material correctly. Make sure it's not super low where it's machining a lot of material on the top that it doesn't need to. So there's a lot of adjustments that you can make for that. It all depends on your specific setup that you have, though.
Yeah, for roughing, make sure you're not using the tool you're using to carve the 3D. Like, don't use a taper ball nose to rough out. Now, I always rough out with the Beast. This cleans it out so fast. I'll be doing a video on that shortly. I think I got a couple of videos out already. But you use the Beast, this thing will knock it out in no time flat. Right? Because your feed rates are up like 300 inches a minute. You're doing 80% step over, 1/4 inch depth. That's just knocks it out really fast.
Yeah, that's another good point. Is a lot of people use too small bits for the project.
Yeah.
If you're doing something with not a lot of detail, especially on the finishing toolpath, you don't need a super fine small bit. You can generally use a larger bit if needed.
Yep. The ball, the size of the ball and the taper ball nose is going to determine the smaller the ball on the taper ball nose, the longer it's going to take.
Yep.
So, like Kyle said, if it doesn't have a lot of detail in the project, then you want to go with a bigger ball nose.
Yeah.
Right? But if you got an incredible amount of detail, then you definitely want to get to the finer ball nose bits. It's like the great seal that we have on the website. That requires a fine detail, ultra fine detail, because really, really highly detailed carve.
Yeah, and you can also, if you have a lot of a lot of detail, you can also do what's called rest machining. And that allows you to use a larger bit for the bigger areas and then a smaller, finer bit just for those detailed areas. And that's in the 3D toolpath, finishing toolpaths.
All right, next one.
Right. Happy birthday, Garrett from
Thank
John.
you. Woo, Garrett's birthday.
I am interested in creating a file to put 4-inch grids in my spoil board using the match fit dovetail bit.
Okay, grids. If you're needing help with grids, what I would basically do is draw a line for the length of the grid and then use what's called the array copy tool. You can copy as many and space it out as far as you want. Do one vertical and one horizontal, and then just run your bit along that line. If you're using the dovetail bit, you might have to do an end mill first to clear out the center, and then run the dovetail through, and you might just have to start the bit outside of the material, so it doesn't plunge straight into the material.
Yeah.
Or you can machine a pocket for an
create
entrance and
create a
exit
round
hole.
pocket where all the tools can fit down in at the,
Yep.
at the end of the grid.
All right. When should you use the center datum position versus the corners from Doggone Productions?
Yeah, it's very personal opinion, honestly, whatever your preference is. In most projects, I use the lower left corner, but sometimes if I'm doing an odd shape project or a circular shape, I may draw an X in the middle, make it easier to center it on there. Yeah. But if you're machining away the material in the center and you have to change your tool a couple of times, it might not be a good idea to center there because you'll lose that material that you zeroed from. That's why I like to use the corner, and I also like to use a fence, so it's always in the same spot.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think I ever go off the center.
Yeah, I only do it in special cases, but I would say 99% of the time I use the lower left corner.
Yeah, I like to use the back left corner because when the machine's done, it parks itself away from the project, behind the project.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
See, I need to learn to use the back left corner so it will do that, but I use the front left corner.
Yeah.
Another good thing, if it stops in the front, it's easier to change the tool. But like you said, then it's in the way too if you're trying to get the material on and off. Yeah. It's kind of a good and bad for both, I guess.
Well,
again, it's very situational and personal preference.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. I have a macro in mind, so when I want to change the bit, I press the macro button, and that raises the tool up and brings the whole thing right to the front, exactly where I need it.
Even better. There you go.
Yep.
That's a good way.
All right, we've only got a couple minutes left, so let's do it. Just handle a couple more questions, and we have to knock off.
All right.
I see Cody in the chat. Hey, Cody.
Yep, I just saw him pop in too.
Come on, Cody. Say hello to Cody, folks, the Jenny bit maker.
Well, that would be fortuitous. Okay, so resizing, scaling existing cab vectors from Andre Chuck.
Yes. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel about that if you want to check it out. But basically, it comes into node editing. If you're trying to rescale something, I can show a quick example. You guys want to bring on screen?
Yep.
So I'm just going to draw like a quick example of a cabinet shape. You may have something that looks like this. And let's say you have a toe kick there cut out. And you want to make this cabinet taller, but you don't want to change the toe kick size. Or maybe you have some dados, and let's say there's a dado in here, or some shelf pin holes in here or something. Of course, these are not to scale here, but you can get the idea here. If I were to select all this, and let's say I wanted to make it taller, once I stretch this, you can see everything stretches with it. The toe kick got bigger, the dado got bigger, the holes got bigger. That's not what we wanted. So let me undo that. The better way to do this is through node editing. So you can select this, go to the letter N on your keyboard to go to node edit, or you can right click and go to node edit. And if you want to scale this section down here without affecting the rest, you can grab these 2 nodes and you can either click and drag them down. You can see that just scaled it taller without adjusting anything else. Or you can also right click on them and go to properties and type in exactly how much you want to increase or decrease it by. So this in this case, it'll go in the Y direction. If we go positive, it'll go up. If we go negative, it'll go down. So let's say I did 2 inches and click apply. You'll see that'll move it 2 inches. And then you could do the same thing for the depth. Let's say if I want to adjust the depth of this dado and the toe kick area, I can grab all this together and stretch it like that without affecting anything else. You can even take that hole there. If we select with the hole included, we can drag that and the hole will come with it. So that's a better way to do it rather than trying to take this and stretch it the normal way, because you'll see everything gets all smushed together or get all stretched out. So that's the way I would do that.
Awesome. Okay, and it looks like we got another super sticker up here. I just saw the color up above. Angel Ramirez, $5. I know it's last minute, but if you could answer my question, I would be forever grateful.
The guy bought his question. Let's get his question up there.
All right. My question is, why does my toolpath mess up when I change from cutting at the center of the vectors to outside of the vectors? I need them on the outside because I'm cutting out interlocking pieces.
The toolpath messes up. So this sounds like it's going to be the profile toolpath you're working with. And you have 3 options: outside, which will cut on the outside of the line; inside will cut on the inside of the line; and then on the line will center the bit on the line. So it'll cut halfway on both sides. So typically, if you want the shape to be the exact same size you designed it, you're going to do outside of the line. That will cut the bit on the outside there. You do have to make sure your bit is the same size you specified in Vectric. Also, make sure you have no offset allowance set in here. If there's an offset allowance in that number there, it's going to cut further away from the line in one of the directions or the other. But as far as your specific question, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with yours, but I would say make sure it's set to the outside, make sure your tool is correct, make sure there's no offset allowance set, and make sure your vectors are closed. If they're open vectors, they may cut on the wrong side of the line, even though you say outside.
Right. Yeah.
So that's another option. It may be having that.
Yep. You want to make sure you got closed vectors. So in case he's got a box like this and the vector's not closed, show him what to do to close that vector.
Yeah. So there could be a variety of issues. Let's just right click on one of these vectors and click cut. And that just cut that corner away. It looks like a closed vector, but if I were to select this and move it, you can see there's an opening there. That's one issue that could happen. And you can quickly see that if you select a vector, if you see a black dot on one of the ends, that means it's open vector. If you select a shape and there's no black dot, that means it's a closed vector. So if you see that, you can use what's called the join tool. It's in edit objects in the lower left corner. Just click on that and click join, and that will join it back together. That will fix it in most cases. However, if, for example, there's an opening, let's just delete that, and we have a opening, it could be big, it could be small opening. That obviously is open vector. You will need to close that. So this way, there's several ways to do it. There's some tools in the edit objects area there, or you can right click on the line and click join, and you can do it with a straight line, a curve, or you can move the endpoints together. If you do it with a straight line, that will close that up automatically. So there's a couple ways you can close those.
All right. Okay. Well, I got 23 questions still in the queue. Folks, we just can't get to them all. So,
and there's more still coming in, like as we're going.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to get Kyle back on in a couple of weeks then. But what I would say, folks, is get in this course, right? He's got all this stuff covered. So, you know, we can do this kind of stuff, and we do this to help with you on the fly, but to really get your training and to start to really understand all these tools and the flow, then take the course. Just, you know, invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge. Again, you spent $3,000 for the alt mill for those who have the alt mill, right? 4,000, whatever it is, and then your $700 for the software, your router bits, all the time you set up. If you don't know how to design, all this stuff is useless.
Yep. Yeah, and
Right.
if you guys like these live style formats, this is what our community is all about. We do weekly live Q&As, answering these type of questions every week, and we make sure none go unanswered. We always answer every single one that comes in.
Yep. And you walk all the way through projects in some of those Q&As, right?
Yep, we do weekly project lessons. People in the community submit their ideas for projects, and then we take those ideas and turn them into a complete project lesson. And then we have all the replays available as soon as you sign up.
All right. Well, we are going to start checkout. Remember Julianne back on board, who's been punching in a ton of codes, a ton of links to this. So all the links that we punched in will be down in the description of the video if you're watching this video, this live show afterward. So today was my birthday. Thank you everybody for the birthday wishes and the gifts, my drinks that I'm going to be buying tonight here shortly, and for Kyle, thank you for coming on board. Remember, he's got the 30% discount right now for this Black Friday. So
thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Garrett.
Yeah, thank you. And
happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes. Enjoy family time. I will be hanging with my family and my sister-in-law, who is spending her time in the hospital. So
good to be around family that time of year.
Yep. Yes,
I want to send a happy birthday out to Garrett, as well as a happy birthday out to my dad. I didn't see him pop on tonight, but he is out and working tonight. So you guys share a birthday. I guess he didn't realize that, so he thought that was pretty cool.
Yep. All right. With that, folks, Julianne, thank you for doing all the work in the background. We didn't bring you up to the whole thing.
Thank you. She was too busy to bring her out.
Yeah. She was plugging away. All right, folks. Remember, Black Friday is IDC Woodcraft. Black Friday is at Kyle's. We're going to send an email out to the CNC insiders tomorrow. It's going to have a bunch of other people that are doing Black Fridays too. All our partners. We're gonna have it all. So watch for that email. If you want your CNC stuff, this is the email to watch for. If you're not on the CNC insiders, that link will be down below in the description of the video. Join the insiders. All right, with that, Kyle, thank you. You enjoy your holiday. Folks,
thank you.
Everybody enjoy your holiday. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Wednesday. With that,
bye-bye,
catch you all later.